Halloween episodes have been a staple in cartoons for as long as I can remember. In late October, you can expect to see your favorite characters around ghosts, ghouls, and getting into mischief and funny costumes. These episodes can be used to develop characters using Halloween, whether that be their relationship with trick-or-treating and aging, or have a life-changing moment in costume. Halloween episodes are a great way to further stories. Episodes can either be wacky and unserious, or so important and emotional that the fandom speaks about them outside of the spooky season. Halloween episodes are and have always been spectacles, and the costumes are always the best part. Today I have 3 frightening fables spanning the last 20 years of cartoons to discuss what makes them special and why I love them. Starting in 1998, I have for you Pepper Ann Season 2, Episode 6, A Tween Halloween. In this episode, Pepper Ann is at a crossroads. She wants to go trick-or-treating with her best friend Milo like they always do, but she starts to feel like that's not what cool 7th graders do, and questions if she should be trick-or-treating in fear of her peers' judgment. It's an easy decision if you ask me. It doesn't matter what the public thinks. If you want to trick-or-treat at 62, go for it. The doubt creeps into her mind when a bunch of little kids call her and Milo old while costume shopping. It's increased when she goes to her best friend Nikki for advice.
How old is too old to go trick-or-treating?
Any age is too old, Pepper Ann.
Oh.
And she might have been the worst person to talk to about this.
Refined sugars wreak havoc on both our dental enamel and metabolic rates. Not only will I not be going out this—
Level 5, Nerd Alert.
But wait, there's more. While avoiding Milo because he's in full dried papaya costume at school, Pepper Ann takes a survey of her peers' trick-or-treating status. As she expected, all of them said no, but it wasn't a straightforward no. All the answers, you could tell that there was something they were hiding, you know? Nevertheless, Pepper Ann lets the poll choose for her and decides to throw in the towel, suppress her feelings, and not trick-or-treat this year or ever again. Not only that, but she has stopped caring about Halloween altogether, it seems, which is tragic because it was her favorite holiday. She goes to Braindead, the arcade, where she sees Milo in full costume. Pepper Ann starts wilding on Milo, projecting her grievances about being too old for trick-or-treating on him, making a scene in front of the entire arcade. Milo responds with some sage wisdom.
I want to use my freakiality to the full extent of my ability, and I don't need anyone telling me when I can or can't dress up like a dehydrated papaya.
Though he just told her off, you can tell the words Pepper Ann said are getting to Milo and he's starting to question his decision. On Halloween Day, Pepper Ann is handing out candy to these oddly familiar looking kids. Milo shows up, but not in costume. He admits Pepper Ann was right and he needs to leave childish ways in the past. She broke him. The one person who lives life unapologetically as himself. After seeing what her words did to such a bright soul, Pepper Ann realizes that looking cool is not important, especially if it causes you to not be yourself in the sake of a fake image. In the end, they go trick-or-treating and have one of their best yet. Pepper Ann speaks on how they are the only ones living their truth, as we see a montage of their classmates who swore up and down they wouldn't be trick-or-treating, taking off their costumes. Even Nikki. Proving Pepper Ann's point because none of them are bold enough to ever admit what they did. I like this episode because it's so down to earth. That's Pepper Ann as a whole, honestly. It conveys the preteen horror mode Halloween experience masterfully. This came out in 1998 and is still a universal experience. Someday you have to stop trick-or-treating, but that's up to you and your guardian. But that's not determined by what is or is not cool. Pepper Ann feels real. She tends to overthink just like any kid would do. In the scenes where she talks to herself while avoiding Milo in full drag, her subconscious manifests as leaves and tells her she's in the wrong for doing this. She had the answer, she literally told herself, but still had to learn the lesson through experience. It felt natural, and that makes her one of the best and relatable main characters from this era.
Milo can do it. Yes, he can. He's 2 parts papaya and 1 part man.
As for Milo, this episode showcases why he's my favorite character, hands down. He's Milo, and that's all he's gonna be. He's a fun-loving guy who deviates from the norm and has sick-ass artwork. He doesn't care if it's little kids or kids his age telling him what he should or shouldn't be doing with his life. That's what makes him great, but he does care what his friends, more specifically Pepper Ann, has to say. When he changed himself after the argument with Pepper Ann, it was kind of jarring because that was so out of character for him. When he took off the papaya mask, he looked so hurt. The one person who would embrace his freakiality just told him to grow up and be normal. Of course that would affect him. Or, little crack theory here, Milo is so intelligent he realized Pepper Ann needed her eyes open and planned for her to understand how stupid she was being with his new demeanor. Overall, this episode is a small piece of Pepper Ann learning she doesn't need validation from random people at school, but the Halloween aesthetic and classic feel to the story makes this a great episode. I'm gonna rate the main characters' costumes from each episode because why not? It's Halloween time. Starting with Nikki, a foot monster or something. She didn't do anything this episode but stress out Pepper Ann. but her costume is funny and good for the purpose of hiding her. 7 out of 10. Milo was a dehydrated papaya, and it screams Milo. Who else is pulling up in this? Most drip. 8 out of 10. Pepper Ann was a
Motorized beauty shop patron.
creative, and she gets to lounge while getting candy. 10 out of 10, hands down. Jumping to 2011, I have for you Fish Hooks Season 1, Episode 40, Halloween Haul. In this episode, Oscar B and Milo, hey, there's another Milo. If I had a nickel for every not funny. They just want to go trick-or-treating, but see they have a problem. The local Brick for Brains Joctopus makes an effort to take everyone's candy on Halloween, and he's damn good at it. At first, Oscar has forgotten the mere thought of trick-or-treating due to the iron arm Joctopus has over Halloween, even though he loves it. Being fed up with his tyranny, they do the only logical thing, use their power in numbers and rebel against him? Of course not. They ran to the area outside the tank. They gather everyone and prepare to have a good robbery-free time, even the resident asshole Randy. Oscar and Randy can set aside their differences for one night in the name of candy, the hood terrorizer bringing together arch enemies. A classic. The group proceeds to have a great time trick-or-treating. The animals outside the tank are receptive and nice for the most part.
You look just like fish. You even smell like them. Here is some deodorant for your terrible fish smell.
They finally had a peaceful Halloween. That isn't until Joctopus found them, somehow, and tries to take their candy. Oscar had too good of a night to take this sitting down. He commands the group and gets away from Joctopus when they find out Randy double-crossed them in exchange for candy. That doesn't bode well for him when Joctopus triple-crosses him and takes all the candy to no one's surprise. Joctopus commits Grand Theft Wagon and takes off with all their spoils. Randy leaves because he's rich, he can go buy more candy. Everyone's down on their luck, sad and crying. Everyone but Oscar. He gives a speech to them about not giving up, convinces them to get in a horse costume and chase Joctopus to get their candy back. With Oscar at the helm, they catch up to Joctopus. He starts a stampede of ants, and B gets a payoff to a running joke that I did not mention.
I'm a zombie!
Bad acting! Bad acting!
Oscar saves Joctopus from ant trampling under condition that he never steals their candy again. In the end, they make it back to the tank safely, distribute the candy, and relish in knowing future Halloweens are now safe thanks to Morty Sanchez. Not fish givings though.
Give Joctopus your turkey!
I like this episode for two reasons. One, I think Fish Hooks is overlooked by other shows of his generation. It's really funny, and it needs to be recognized for that. Two, I like the episodes where Oscar buffs up and is the real nigga that he is on the inside. Oscar can get work done, he's just a little embarrassed about it. Starting off, he wanted to stay inside on Halloween and be safe from Joctopus. After seeing everyone's good time ruined by Randy and Jock Octo, he took the initiative and led them to not only a successful Halloween this year, but ensured future Halloweens will be Jock free. Speaking of B and Milo, they didn't do much this episode but encourage Oscar to go out, but it was needed, and it's okay for them to be ensemble for a little. As for the Halloween aspect, the Fish Hook visuals never disappoint. The photorealistic style, you could say, of everything that's not fish always worked for me, and the Halloween decorations are no different. The outside area feels lived in, which is cool as hell because it's a pet shop. You can see the other animals they met throughout the series in costume. This episode is great. Costume ratings. I said only main characters, but Joctopus's costume is funny. 6 out of 10, no further comments. Oscar was a cowboy, nothing special to be honest. 4 out of 10, he's still the GOAT though. B was a zombie, which was part of her running gag this episode. People were not finding her scary, so there was a purpose, but it's still weak. 3 out of 10. Saved the best for last. Milo was a fish wearing sushi, creative genius, my oxymoronic king. 10 out of 10. We have learning it's okay to be yourself in the late 90s, standing up to your bullies in the 2010s. What's in store for the modern decade? Kids paying off debt. What? Landing in 2020, I have for you Craig of the Creek Season 3, Episode 11 and 12, Trick or Creek. This is a combined episode. We working with 22 minutes this time. In this episode, Craig, Kelsey, JP, and the rest of the Creek have to make enough candy during Halloween to pay off their debts to Kit, the girl who runs the trading tree. Over the last however many months, all the kids racked up some hefty debt and must pay it off or they're banned from the trading tree forever. This is a big deal. That tree is the cornerstone of the creek. If someone loses access to it, they'll be screwed and have to eat whatever shitty snacks their parents got or starve. These kids got some big ass tabs.
Big Red, you got a big bill.
Did she trade for anything ever? Craig comes up with an optimal trick-or-treating route to get the most candy, but it won't be enough to pay off their debts. They have to hit the big red button.
You don't mean.
They need Jessica's cuteness to be a multiplier of sorts to get them enough candy to trade another year in the creek. Jessica masterfully negotiates a split of the candy.
80-50.
It has to add up to 100!
Well, 80-50 adds up to a happy Jessica.
And agrees to help Craig. But before I get to that, I'm going to talk about the B story because it's funny. Bobby psychologically tortures Craig's dad until he gives him all the candy he has, thus supplying all of Bobby's candy for the year. That's it. Back to the main plot, the kids' plan starts successfully, using Jessica's cuteness to its fullest. They are about to cut through the creek to save time when the 10 speeds come out frightened and candyless. They say No Neck Matthew stole it all and warned them not to go in the creek. Who's No Neck Matthew? Didn't I? I didn't. Oh. At the beginning of the episode, the witches, some teen goths, tell the kids a story of a boy named Matthew whose head exploded from Pop Rocks and soda. Now he roams the creek and seeks for revenge. Ooh. All the normal cool shit. The kids might not want to go into a ghost-infested creek, but they need to pay off Kit. So they ain't scared of no ghosts today and start to cross the creek when they run into an astronaut kid Craig met earlier. Matthew's there too. He steals Jessica's candy. She had the most. They have to go back for it. Kelsey offers to take it on alone, then does the funniest thing ever.
Okay, you're the Kelsey tonight. So this battle is yours.
Are you crazy? After Kelsey's big head and a speech from the astronaut, the gang comes up with a plan to take down Matthew. The plan succeeds and they kill the ghost. Yep, that's how it ends. Seriously though, it was Big Red all along. She did all that to pay off her debts. I don't think I have to say this, but stealing is bad and the astronaut thinks so too.
Return all the candy you stole tonight, or you'll find out just how real No Neck Matthew is.
What? It was No Neck Matthew the whole time? OM goodness, I'm so fooled. Wow man, you weren't tricked by the children's cartoon. You're so smart. I bet Harvard's kicking down your door right now, aren't they? The witches got it wrong. Matthew is here to help trick-or-treaters, not punish them. In the end, Matthew gives them a big bag of full-size candy bars and pays off their debt to thank them for helping him protect Halloween and wisp away never to be seen again. The kids get into Craig's traumatized dad's car and enjoy their candy. Craig of the Creek will go down as one of the best of the newer generation. This episode shows how with the stakes and characters, if they lose access to the trading tree, they're cut off from all economy in the creek. And this is before the war arc, so they can't go to the other side and get new shit. These are high stakes, and I love that they treat the creek problems with such severity. I've described it as Kids Next Door turned down. In K&D, everything's on a global scale. In the creek, it's nowhere near as grand as what the kids next door get into. Half the time it's all in their head, but it's still treated as seriously as Father trying to blow up the world. It's amazing. That's only because the characters are so well written and funny. These kids will give their all for the creek, including all their Halloween candy and their safety as seen when they plan to take out a ghost Scooby-Doo style. Though it was only Big Red Robin niggas, they wholeheartedly believed it was the spirit of a dead child looking for revenge and still went toe to toe with it because it's creek or die out here. This Halloween episode tests how far they would go to keep the sanctity of their safe space, which will be important later in the season during the Capture the Flag War. They did whatever it took to save their side, like they're doing now to save their patronage at the trading tree. It's the subtle setups, man. I'm gonna keep saying this. The small things add up. They do Halloween great in Hercleton. The creek and house decorations are on point and the costumes are even better. Just like Pepper Ann, this show feels homely. Everything in the show I've probably seen on Halloween. There's also a twist with the ghost set up with the freaky story to add more stakes and creepiness to all of it. This episode even does the classic and reveals the ghost was real all along. It has everything. This episode holds up with the others in this video and will surely stand the test of time. Costume review. Starting with the parents because I'm fiending to talk about them. The dad is Steve Urkel, which is amazingly done, 8 out of 10. But the main event, the mom, is Missy Elliott from the Rain music video. I love black people. This is amazing. This is why I love this show. This costume got Missy Elliott to appear on an episode, The Jump Off. Has to be a 10 out of 10. Jessica went as a president doctor. She's just so stinking cute, and she's always talked about being a president doctor. Easy 7 out of 10. JP, he's a JP Rex. It's mid, not gonna lie. He got the head, tail, and feet, and a patient gown, which makes sense. His sister's a nurse. He probably doesn't have the money for it. Hope his ass isn't out. 5 out of 10. Kelsey and Mortimer. They dressed up as each other. Wonderfully creative from Kelsey, and the joke made me cry. Actually, 10 out of 10. Craig was Slide the Ferret. It's a Sonic clone. We all know those niggas that love Sonic. He's vibing for real. 6 out of 10. Halloween is a time for spooky shit and candy, but can also be a time of growth, an opportunity to break out your shell, or a way to spend quality time with quality people. These episodes show how Halloween episodes can be more than easy concepts for the writer that week. They are amazing at putting characters in unusual situations like in Fish Hooks, great at having characters realize the error of their ways like in Pepper Ann, or the character can rock out and fight ghosts like in Craig of the Creek. Any way you spin it, Halloween episodes are spectacular, and I want one from every cartoon ever. Thank you so much for watching. If you like, please like. If you want to subscribe, you know, throw subscribe. You know, I wouldn't mind. But, you know, please subscribe and tell me what you would like to see. Did you enjoy the format of this video? Let me know in the comments. I don't know what's next. Stay tuned. Bye.